Hello people, welcome to the stream, welcome to some more Arsenal transfer talk, transfer chat, all that good stuff. Gonna talk about random players, actually not so random, but different type of players, different things that are going on with Arsenal at the moment, different situations, different combinations basically. Everything is pretty interesting around Arsenal at the moment, so it will be very interesting to see how everything develops. But of course, give me a sec, let me do this. But of course, it all revolves obviously, as I said, about around Arsenal. But everything should be very interesting to see how it develops, because another day, about I would say like few more links again, and I must say they are quite interesting to say the least, because there are some I didn't expect. Some of them I didn't expect, some of them didn't expect to be a thing at all, yet at the same time, they are happening. So it will be very interesting to see how everything develops, how everything goes, because if Arsenal somehow do something they are linked with, in a way, the players they have been linked with, it could be a quite interesting time for us, because transfer window hasn't pretty much opened just yet. It's gonna open in 10 days. But at the same time, it already is kind of busy time for Arsenal. Obviously, it's a very busy time in general for Arsenal, because during every transfer window, pretty much Arsenal are linked with every single damn player in the world. And at the end of the window, we tend to sign nobody of the players we have been linked with, unless it's a full-on concrete links that come out from Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano, and maybe some other few people here or there. So definitely, it's a very tall order to kind of follow everything up. You can't take anything for granted in this window, because transfer window is moving mad, I'm not gonna lie. Tosin to Chelsea, and the other players are moving all over the place, and all of a sudden some players become available nobody didn't expect. And that is the biggest thing for today. There will be a player we're gonna talk about that I don't believe it, that he will be available, but according to reports he actually might be available. So that will be one of the main talking points today. But we're gonna kick things off with Osimhen. Again, yes, it feels like it's a never-ending saga with Victor Osimhen all the time. That he might join, he might move, he might not move. But according to reports, Mail Sport, take it as granted, it's a 50-50 shot here. But Napoli have picked out two Arsenal players, Tomiyasu and ESR, Emil Smith-Rowe. They would be willing to include in any potential swap deal that would see Victor Osimhen move to Arsenal. And that is very weird, because I've heard from Napoli fans, many people, that there is no chance in hell that Napoli are gonna include Osimhen in any swap deals for any player. They want the money straight up. It's pretty much how Italian teams work in a way. They don't want any players in return most of the time. They just want the cash so they can spend and improve their squad. And that's how they usually operate. But according to Mail Sport, Napoli are ready, allegedly, to kind of include Tomiyasu or Smith-Rowe. Now this is very interesting, because Tomiyasu, I don't see him moving, basically because by the looks of things Arteta and I do really like him. However, I kinda can see Emil Smith-Rowe moving. Now Emil Smith-Rowe though has been linked with a move overall away from Arsenal to Fulham, so that will be a very interesting thing to follow in general. But it will be all over the place. If it doesn't happen, then it will be very interesting. Let me fix my camera a bit here, because it's hella bugging me that I'm hella blue here. And it will be very interesting to see what happens, how everything develops. Give me a sec, because this is pretty much insufferable being blue. So here we are. Yeah, but if Arsenal go for Osimhen, which I personally don't want to. I'm not gonna lie, injury prone and everything, has some injuries, has had quite a bit of injuries, hasn't done much this season per se as well, compared to last season, for example. I'm not sure whether it's gonna be the smart move or not, but if they're willing to take, let's just say, Smith-Rowe, and it kind of gets off about 50 mil, 50, what I'm talking about, 35, let's just say 35 million off the deal. Although Osimhen's release clause at 130 million, so it still would have to pay 100 mil up front. Still, I don't see it happening. I don't see Osimhen coming to Arsenal, even though allegedly he wants Arsenal, maybe. Who knows? It's all a Yellow Pages story, but getting him It's a very weird one because pretty much every single goal he scores is on his right foot, so it feels like he doesn't have a left foot. He's injury prone, which is not a great thing if you want to be your main man, a gunner who just legitimately scores lots of goals. So definitely that would not be the best of cases by any freaking means whatsoever. So all remains to see what's gonna happen with that. Moving on to another news that Arsenal and AC Milan have approached Girona winger Tsygankov and his entourage. Mikel Arteta is in love with the player, who has 30 million release clause and believes that he could fit perfectly into Arsenal's team. Now, Tsygankov predominantly, if I'm not mistaken, plays right mid, center attacking mid, depends on how you format the team. It's coming out of Spain, these reports. Obviously, every single player pretty much in Spain needs and is obligated to have release clauses. Some of them are very preposterous ones, like 1 billion release clauses and stuff like that, but overall, if you think about it, Tsygankov is not the oldest, to be honest, 25 years old, or 26 I think it was, and he for Girona had quite a season. Girona in general quite had insane season given how they performed this season, challenging Real Madrid for the title, in the end finishing third and gonna play in Champions League for the first time ever next season, and how it's gonna go nobody knows, but it generally feels like they might get cleaned out per se, if that makes any sense whatsoever, mostly because let's be real, they finished third. Youngkoto is gonna move back to City, might he get loaned out. Savio is already pretty much I guess City player. Dovbyk might get a move, Garcia kinda could move. And now looks like Arsenal definitely could be moving for another player as well. They have quite a bit of gens. Arsenal for some time were linked also with Garcia, who is the left back for Girona when we were in the defensive pursuit, which is also a very interesting one because we haven't had anything in a while for defensive left back. And that is kind of weird to me, I'm not gonna lie, given how we need that position to strengthen. It's one of our weakest sides. Arguably, it's our weakest side in the team because there were multiple interviews conducted during the season to managers and scouts for teams, and they said, if you want to get at Arsenal, get at their left side. Basically our left back, because it's impossible for Gabriel to cover left back and center back. So that definitely goes against us. So it will be very interesting to see how everything develops in this regard. But Tsygankov definitely caught me off guard. This news really caught me off guard. I didn't expect that one bit, and I'm not sure how he would do at Arsenal. It's another Ukrainian, obviously. He maybe can hold Zinchenko's hand, although Zinchenko might be leaving to Bayern Munich, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it looks very, very weird. We have been linked with Tsygankov. I didn't expect that one single bit. This is something that came out of the blue, and that would be a Mikel Arteta signing in a way. A random player nobody has heard of, almost nobody, has had a somewhat decent season, and he takes a gamble on. Because we have these players almost every single window under Mikel Arteta recently. We had that with Fabio Vieira. He came out of nowhere, still hasn't done anything on Arsenal, to be honest. Timber came out of nowhere, but I definitely believe in Timber more, that he's going to be a proven player. I think the plan is to play him at left back. It will be very interesting because he started left back as well. So it will be very interesting to see once he gets back to full fitness, the season begins again, if he can avoid injuries after that ACL tear, how he will look at left back, because Arteta wants to invert. It's like, I don't know, it's like his guilty pleasure. From left or right, that will be very interesting because during games we tend to invert mostly from one side, and this is very weird because at the time when Kiwior was playing left back, when he was on that great run, we all knew that Kiwior cannot invert properly. Let's be real, everyone knows that. And we inverted from the right with Ben White, and it actually worked like a charm at the time. We were destroying teams, we beat Liverpool, so we definitely went on an incredible run, and that will be the big one. What's gonna happen with that? But Tsygankov at Arsenal, I don't know what to think. I've seen him play. Obviously, Savio for me is much better, but he's going to City by the looks of things. I'm not sure what to think about Tsygankov. Genuinely not sure what to think, because let's check this. Tsygankov. Let's check him at Transfermarkt. How does Viktor Tsygankov look? So he played 30 games in La Liga last season, scored 8 goals, got 7 assists. So 15 points out of 30 games, so that's half a point per game, which is not the worst. He can play, as I told, right wing, left wing, and an attacking mid, which is also something like that. 28 million euros, his market value, his release clause are 30 million. In a way, that is a very good deal. That is a very, very good deal. Which is the big part. Again, they signed him for 5 million, which is the big one. If they sell him for 30 million, that's a 25 million profit. That's a 6 times increase in the value in the player, which is actually kind of mad. And same goes for Dovbyk, to be honest. Genuinely, that is the big one as well, because Dovbyk could go for massive money, because Dovbyk is another player I would genuinely be interested in if Arsenal look at him at striker. Here it is, Artyom Dovbyk, also Ukrainian, so first things first. 36 games, 24 goals, 8 assists, 32 points out of 36 games this season. Played, obviously, center forward pretty much every single game. They signed him for 7.5 million from Dnipro. 7.5 million, and his value at the moment is 30 million. He most likely will go for about 40, something like that million. It will be very interesting. He will play for Ukraine, definitely. And he's this Friday playing against Poland in the friendly, but he'll definitely play for Ukraine in a Euro, so that will be interesting to see how he plays. But overall, as another player, injury. Let's check the injury history for Artyom Dovbyk. As you see, he missed only 3 games this season, which is a massive plus. Muscular problems, 2 games, calf injury, 1 game. Obviously, this happened during international break by the looks of things, because he missed only 1 game. Besides, before that, he missed 36 games. He had a surgery, but after that, he's been pretty much injury-free. Genuinely, he missed 6 games during a tough season, 7 games. Then he missed once the game, unknown injury. Wow, unknown injury, big whoop. And then he missed 3 last season, which is not that bad. Now, if we look back at Tsygankov, we need to check his injury history, because Arsenal, we don't need injuries. He missed 3, 8, 12 games last season. 12 games. 12 games he missed last season. And overall, he tends to miss quite a bit of games every single season. He missed 1 previously, then 3. Before that, he missed in 2021 season. He missed a whale of games, to be honest. He missed how many? 9, 10, 15 games he missed. That is actually too much for my liking. I'm not gonna lie. I'm genuinely not gonna lie. That's a bit too much for my liking. But overall, if we look at his profile, with him being only 20, well, not only, but 26 years young, I genuinely can see this being a good signing. Although, that is also based only what I've seen from him in La Liga. We need to see him in Premier League. He's played his whole career in La Liga, and that is 1 season. Before that, he pretty much only played in Ukraine, and we all know how he. Well, to be honest, Dynamo Kiev and Donetsk Shakhtar, two of the 2 flagmans of two of the big guys from Ukraine, is also very tough. In Vitaly Tsygankov. Why I have heard this name? I don't know. But 30 million for him, I'm not gonna lie, wouldn't be against that. Definitely wouldn't be against that. And this is according to Athletic, from Gunner blog, The Athletic. Breaking Arsenal are in pole position to land Benjamin Sesko this summer. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think about this signing, because on paper, he looks pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie, with loads of potential. He's quick in the straight line. He can finish with both feet and his head. He has a massive leap to jump over the defenders and everything. He can do the things. He has decent skill on him. Obviously, he doesn't have the best passing ability. He's still raw, so he makes some dumb decisions at times, obviously, from what I've seen at Leipzig. He tend to go missing in the big games against Real Madrid when he played in Champions League and everything. But overall, you kind of cannot forget the fact that if we look at Sesko on Transfermarkt, yeah, he wasn't playing pretty much at all this season, as you can see. He wasn't playing pretty much at all in the early stages of the season until January. Around this time, in these 3 weeks, in this span, Werner went out on loan to Spurs. which kind of meant that they needed to start a striker. And since they started him on consistent basis, he scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 goals and gave 2 assists. Out of like 16 games, 11 goals, 2 assists is actually quite quality showing. So that definitely shows that if you get him in the team, if you get him going, he definitely is good. If you play him to his strengths, that is also a massive one. Plus, he's gonna play in Euros against England, mind you, so definitely there will be some chances to look at him in that regard, of course. So it will be very interesting. Overall, at RB Salzburg, in 79 games, he has 29 goals and 11 assists, which doesn't seem too good, I'm not gonna lie. At Leipzig, in 42 games, he has 20 points. So basically, every single team he plays, he pretty much averages a point every 2 games. Which, in a 38-game season, getting 19 points for a striker that technically could be a potential your main guy in about season or 2 is not bad. I'm not gonna lie, it's not that bad at all. At the same time, we need it now. We need a winner, we need goals, we need everything right now on this spot, because we cannot afford to let City go further away, because according to rumors, City are gonna sign certain players that will not allow us to get close to them. That will increase the gap away from us. Plus, other teams will get stronger. In the other words, that will decrease the gap from the other teams to us. So definitely we cannot sleep right now on any single signing, any single player. And this window arguably is more important than any other window for Arsenal in a very long time, because if we don't win this season, Premier League, in 24-25 season, there will be many questions asked about Mikel Arteta. I am already 95% out, 5% in. After last season, how he did it, and now this season, how he has done it, I'm more and more on Arteta out train. Quite a bit. And there will be many questions asked even for Arteta enthusiasts, who has Arteta-titis or whatever you want to call it, that they will start to turn on him slowly. Definitely, especially if we mid-season, we are, let's just say, top 2, top 3 team, we are separated by a few points, and we drop, let's just say, 2 games we lose on a bounce, or 3 games on a bounce. Instantly, everything will turn upside down, and that is something you don't want to see. Obviously, you want to win the Premier League, and if Arteta does it, that would be kind of sublime and incredible. But Sesko, us being in the front run, is not saying much, because Chelsea was in the running, they said no, but apparently they are back in it again, so it's all very hella confusing, I'm not gonna lie. Who's playing at the moment, by the way? Slovenia are playing Armenia. Oh, Slovenia are playing. Okay, who scored? Who scored for Slovenia? Jan Mlakar scored for Slovenia, so not Sesko. Okay. Is he even starting? By the way, where's the starting lineups? No, he's not even starting. Sesko is not even starting, mind you. They have actually quite an interesting team. Belets obviously won't play as number 1. It will be Oblak, let's be real. Jasmin Kurtic is still playing. That's kind of nice. Sporar, of course. Who they have on the bench? Because that is the big one. That kind of could show. They have Sesko, they have Brekalo, to be honest. Stojanovic is decent. Verbic. Oh, Josip Ilicic is back. That is massive. I think if he kind of can turn everything around and he can get over the hard mental issues he have, that would be fantastic. Well, Armenia is Armenia. No offense, but nobody cares. Moving on to Alexander Zinchenko in that regard, this will be very interesting. Arsenal are open now to offers for Alexander Zinchenko, who has already been linked with Vincent Kompany's Bayern Munich, according to Football Insider. Now, we all know that Real Madrid are kind of keeping tabs on Davies, and I'm not sure how Kompany envisions Zinchenko at Bayern Munich, because if Davies stays, he will definitely play Zinchenko in midfield. In I don't know what scenario, how he envisions that as well, with there being like countless players they can play there, to be honest. Especially if Kimmich doesn't leave, for example, with Goretzka and other players. So that will be very interesting to see how that develops. But if Arsenal are open for offers for Zinchenko, the thing is, who is gonna take him? That is the big one, because if I was looking from outside in, I would say, yes, this guy is decent going forward, he has decent passing, but defensively, he's as useful as an umbrella on a sunny day. He cries on the pitch, and he feels like a cheerleader. So, it is a very iffy one. If we can get around 30 million for him, I would be happy. Will we get 30 million for him if we sell him? All depends on Edu, if he can actually do some proper negotiating for once. All is that as well on Edu, of course. So that will all remains to be seen as well. But for me personally, Zinchenko is a must sell. He needs to go. He's not good enough. He needs to go. And that should be done and dusted for that regard. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen. We will need to wait. But it depends also how he plays in Euros. If he does good for Ukraine in Euros, he actually might be on the move. He actually might be on the move. And that is the big one here. He actually might be on the move. Obviously, the injury worries is a massive one because he actually has missed more games for Arsenal than Tierney with the injuries. And people call Tierney injury prone. He's more injury prone, to be honest. So that is a big one. So it all remains to be seen. It will definitely be a long wait and long patient wait, I think, until we sell Zinchenko, because unless Arteta wants to play him as a substitute in the midfield potentially, once we need a goal to control the game more, I don't see him being useful for us any way, shape or form besides selling him. Because if I see him at left back, if he stays at Arsenal, for example, he doesn't get sold in the summer, and if I see him at left back one more time, I might start crying and I might sack Arteta right now. I wouldn't be patient for that extra year and see what's gonna happen. So all depends. We're gonna sell him or not. And I definitely believe that players we are trying to sell, like Smith-Rowe, obviously Zinchenko, arguably we might try to sell Jesus if a good offer comes. We have outgrown them as a team. Because if you look at this, we have signed players that are Premier League proven. We signed Zinchenko, we signed Jesus, and instantly that made us better. They made us better. We were playing very proper football. We were instantly challenging for the title, and we were 8 points clear that we balled it. Okay, we're not talking about that, but we instantly improved as a team since we bought Premier League proven players. And since Arteta taking gambles with Edu from outside Premier League signed players pretty much hasn't worked at all. Because since we signed Rice, Premier League proven, let's be real, Zinchenko elevated the team when he came in, Jesus as well. We signed Gabriel, okay, I can give Gabriel to Arteta. I can give Partey technically to Arteta. Jorginho came in, he did something very good. He was one of our most consistent performers. He did decent, he elevated the team. Trossard came in, he elevated the team. In a way, Havertz as well came in and he elevated the team. But the rest of the players we have signed outside of the Premier League have done nothing. Genuinely have done nothing. Fabio Vieira just sits on the bench and it's injured all the time. And other players, he just brings in Pablo Mari and all of them useless sorts. Like, useless, irrelevant, awful. Just, you cannot explain, but it is that way. And why aren't Arsenal, let's just say, going, okay, I want Olise from Crystal Palace, I want Eze from Crystal Palace, Anderson, the center back from Crystal Palace, one of the most underrated players in the league, in my opinion, one of the most underrated defenders in the league. Why aren't we going for him as a back? He would do great for us, in my opinion. We tried to go for Douglas Luiz, but apparently Thiago Motta and Juventus are trying to strike a deal that Weston McKennie is going to Aston Villa, and Luiz is going there, and cash involved, and all them sorts. And it pretty much is the same story. Arsenal linked with the player. We don't sign him. We move on to the next and rinse and repeat, and all that stuff. But overall, yeah. And as long as we sign Premier League proven players that are ready to make that next step, even as a squad players, I'm just not talking about stars, squad players, we instantly have impact and we improve. As soon as we have taken gambles from most of the time from players from outside the Premier League who need to adapt, who need to adjust, who need to learn the league, learn the tactics, learn every single thing. Mind you, if they still need to learn English even, we're instantly screwed. And that has been the case throughout the whole time since we have signed players. Because let's be real, Edu and Arteta are no Arsene Wenger, who can sign for cheap and already envision the talent of Henry, of Pires, of Bergkamp, of Jose Antonio Reyes, may he rest in peace, and all them players. They don't have the ability. So definitely, why are we not bullying the smaller teams to take their best players away? Because In a way, we get bullied by the smaller teams. We get bullied by Donetsk Shakhtar with Mudryk. We got bullied by Aston Villa when we tried to sign Douglas Luiz. We get bullied every single time we go to a smaller team and try and sign players. We don't act like a big club. We generally act like wet wipes. And that is one of the biggest issues when we go, and why there's a big chance this transfer window could be very, very suspect at the end of it, when we technically have signed the players, but they don't work out. And that is one of the biggest issues for me overall, I'm not gonna lie. And one of the most interesting ones, and that this will be a very random segue, but according to reports, according to Sport, from Spain, of course, bienvenidos, somos el diario Sport, Barça football, oi, Barça football, oi, oi, oi. Hansi Flick would be open to selling Frankie de Jong, but only if Barcelona guarantee a high level replacement. Obviously, it's been reported that Barcelona wouldn't mind signing, who was there? Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, and all those players. If they sign one of them, there's a big chance they would be open to selling Frankie de Jong. And can you imagine Frankie de Jong at Arsenal? The midfield of Rice, Odegaard, and Frankie de Jong. Can you just imagine? There is a possibility that Frankie de Jong properly actually can be on the market. And that is something I definitely wouldn't mind being against. I definitely. Now, obviously he would come for a hefty fee. He's valid on Transfermarkt for 70 million. He would cost about 80 million, 90 million. But signing a level player of Frankie de Jong, he's 27, but yes, signing a player of that caliber instantly improves our team. Instantly improves our team. His contract runs out in 2 years, so definitely he doesn't have much left, so Barcelona kind of need to sell if they want to get some value. He played only 20 games this season, which is not great. I'm not gonna lie, it is not great. Mostly because he was injured, and that is one of the biggest worries. He missed 6 games, then he missed, he's still injured by the way. He's gonna be injured apparently 5 more days. He missed, overall this season, he missed 21 games. And that is the big thing why he didn't play much. He had ankle sprain, he had, fever, it's a different thing, but he has massive ankle injuries. Muscle strain, and that obviously results into ankle injury, another ankle sprain, another ankle injury, another ankle injury. Now it keeps him out for 2-3 games at a time, and it might be the cup games, it might be interesting, but here, I don't know if you can see this by the way. Oh, you can, that is nice. Arsenal, 39% probability of a transfer. 39% is quite encouraging. I'm clutching hell at straws here right now. But this is a player I would love at Arsenal. This would be a player that would elevate Arsenal to a whole different level. Yes, I'm saying that now right after I've said hasn't played in Premier League, needs to adjust to the league, needs to adapt. But his quality of a player definitely doesn't need as much time to adjust. He would have his friend Timber, for example, here. Definitely he would be very useful for Arsenal for creative roles. Because he could be that guy who sits... Would he sit in 6? Most likely the Declan Rice would sit in 6 and he would sit in an 8. But maybe he would sit in 6, who knows. Or we could do what in Wenger times we played with 3 8s, basically. Like Wilshere, Ramsey and Cazorla, for example. We could do that. But overall, yeah. Frankie de Jong at Arsenal, that would be one of my dream signings of the summer if we could make this deal happen. And I'm not ashamed to saying that I would definitely go for it. Obviously, he's going to play in Euro, so that will be very interesting to see how that happens. But overall, I'm not going to lie. If Hansi Flick is open to selling him, and if United or Chelsea or someone else gets him from Premier League, I will be hella pissed with Arsenal, with Arteta, with Edu and Kroenkes. I will be hella pissed if he is up for sale and we don't try and go for him. Because we are a big club. We need to freaking start to act like one. And signing Frankie de Jong definitely would do that. And I must say, yeah, as you can see in Champions League, he missed most of the Champions League with injuries. At the same time, they did good. Yeah, they got it done over by PSG, but that was Araujo's red card, and that was just stupid and a half. But despite that, overall, as you can see, he missed all the games with ankle sprains. Yes, he gets yellow card happy in a way, but it is what it is. But he played center back against Cadiz. Oh, fuck's sake, man. But overall, he plays that number 8 role, and to be honest, the way he plays and how he could play for us, I definitely would be for that. I would be for that. 100% I would support this signing. I don't care that he gets injured on a time he has missed. How many do we just count it? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games. He has missed 16 games. He missed 16 games out of 38 possible. At the same time, with the player like that, even though the best ability is accountability and the best ability is availability, this guy would elevate Arsenal's midfield in stratosphere, to be honest. We could sign an 8 or we could sign a 6, one of the two. And if there is, let's just say, Frankie de Jong, and there is no other option to sign at 6, I would go for Frankie de Jong. 100%. If there's a chance to, let's just say, sign Frankie de Jong for about 80 million and then sign Fofana for 20-25 million, the use of Fofana from Monaco, I would do that as well. 100% I would do that as well. This is one of those selfish picks. If it happens, everyone would be super gassed. 100%. And to be honest, I would be super gassed as well. That would be one of the marquee signings that would make everyone go, damn, Arsenal are really serious. Because if we could attract a player like that, that would be a whole different story. Moving on to some other news, if it would load. Here we go. Arsenal confirmed talks with 19-year-old winger approached already by Newcastle. Obviously, yesterday news came out that Arsenal are about to sell not sell, Arsenal got rid of about 20 players, and including quite a bit of youngsters. And the 3 ones that are up still with contract negotiations are Rowe, Walters, Skelly, and Hein, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory doesn't... Coulter-Dewberry, sorry. And here it is. Coulter-Dewberry is in talks with Arsenal over new contract, and as Newcastle are waiting an outcome. Coulter-Dewberry is one of those players who was promised a very big future for Arsenal. Definitely. He would be understudy for Bukayo Saka in a way. He could be a proper winger. And here is the big one. 19-year-old is out of contract in June 30th, so he has... 26 days, so quite a long time. It's understood that he's wanted by a number of European clubs, according to Fabrizio Romano, and that is very, very good. In a way, in the fact that he is actually, it just shows that he's quality. Let's just say that. And a 19-year-old, everyone's willing to take that up. But most of the clubs, if there's a very big club who signs, it will take him and loan him out, and Arsenal should do that. But Arsenal haven't given up hope on retaining youngster services, and I wouldn't be too, to be honest. I would try and re-sign him no matter what. As we talked about, Arsenal confirmed 22 departures. They're trying to, here are all the players, but here are the ones we are trying to re-sign still. Dewberry, Hein, and Walters. But according to reports, Walters is gone and he might sign for... Was it Celtic or was it Rangers? I think it was Rangers. I think it was Glasgow Rangers. They are in talks to sign maybe for Glasgow Rangers. Now, if we lose this guy to Newcastle, I'll be hella annoyed. I'm not gonna lie. Because he's one of those players... It's a worth signing a contract and then loaning him out if he gets promoted or whatever. Definitely would be one of those people I wouldn't be against re-signing and putting a gamble on. Anything new here? Mikel Arteta hints on major summer transfers as Arsenal reality made clear. What the hell is this? Is it Frankie de Jong? If we sign Frankie de Jong because Hansi Flick has said he's available, man, I would be over the moon. Obviously, we just signed David Raya as well. We are making that loan official, so it will be very interesting. Arteta has appeared to further back up the likelihood of no major transfer being sanctioned with a brutally honest admission about what may happen this summer. Oh, this is a very bad thing to read. Oh no. We look again. Arteta told CNN when asked about transfers. All the margins, squad-wise, the process, man, it needs to stop. That we have at the football club, our mythology, especially on how we make our players better, more competitive, more consistent, and cause them to raise the level and better than previous season. I think our focus has to be with what we have already in the house. So giving chances to youngsters like Ethan Vanieri, I get it. We could have, like, Cedric played about 170 or 180 minutes last season. You're telling me that Rule Walters couldn't have played those 180 minutes last season. El Neni played about 200 or minutes or something. You tell me Vanieri couldn't have played those 200 minutes. Oh, come on, let's be real. How can we be better? Oh, there are lots of ways, to be honest. There are margins and there are players that can still develop and be better. That's objective that we have. Pretty much every single player can develop. From our team, I can see room to grow for every single damn player. Every decision we are going to make is to be better without losing who we are and everything that is taking us to the position where we now are as a football club and as a team. Well, makes sense. The ambition is there. Well, no shit. The players, the staff, you can sense it and do much more, blah, 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 blah. They want to start lifting trophies, and that's the next step. That should have been the step in the last 2 seasons, brother. What are you talking about? Arteta rather firm admission suggests that no significant deals, if any at all, will be completed, with the priority perhaps on helping the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe, Fabio Vieira and Eddie Nketiah kick on. Complying with profit and sustainability rules, it's clearly still a concern that the Gunners, with Arteta, focus on helping those already under contract. Oh, just why you have to make why you need to make stuff like this? Why? Oh, just reading this puts me in a depression. I'm not gonna lie. Genuinely, they are looking deeper into it than it has to be looked at. This is just... Who wrote this, by the way? Kieran Horn. Why you do this, Kieran? Why you have to do this on a Tuesday evening, eh? Why you have to do this? I genuinely don't believe this. Although, given the fact that we are going after Sesko, who is not a major signing, if you get what I mean, at least value-wise, if we are gonna go for Douglas Luiz, who is valued about 15 million, Fofana, who's about 25, 30 million, Tsygankov, who has 30 million release clauses. They are none of them are major signings, to be honest. So in that sense, it actually makes... There is some truth to that, which kind of makes me sad, I'm not gonna lie. Because I need for Arsenal to sign a marquee player this summer. To show that we are serious in winning the league, we need to sign a marquee player, whether it's a proper midfielder like Frankie de Jong that we talked about 10 minutes ago, or we sign a proper striker. We need a marquee player. We need that one marquee player that can elevate the team, because although we need a backups in about 6 positions, not to mention a backup goalkeeper, it is a bit of a tough one, to be honest, to decide how it's gonna work. Because if we definitely don't sign anyone big, but we kind of invest in the squad in a way that we sign backups and everything, maybe a proper starting player, that wouldn't be the worst. Because the one thing about Arsenal at the moment is we have lots of young players, lots of players that lack experience, let's be real. What we need now is experienced players, experienced winners, and third of all, quality players. Now, those are the qualities, in 3 qualities we need in players that we are signing now. We need some proven winners with the quality of winning and installing that winning mentality. Because in the team, we don't have that. To be honest, if you think about it, we don't have a proper player who has won it all. Okay, Zinchenko, maybe, Jesus, yeah. But those are not the leaders. Declan Rice has won Conference League. Okay, we can give him that. But in other words, Odegaard, meh, Saka, meh, Havertz has won Champions League, but he doesn't seem the type of player who can lift and inspire the team when you need the most, who can give an advice about winning. Trossard, meh, Saliba, no, Raya, no. So it kind of is a very, very up in the air 50-50 one. Anything else? Anything else? On Arsenal now, only club in for £113 million striker. If it is Osimhen, I swear to God. If it is Osimhen, it is Osimhen. Cool. Way of meeting his... Arsenal are the only club in Victor Osimhen at the moment, according to a report, though. They are way off meeting his release clauses. Obviously, we talked about this in the beginning of the stream, that there are apparently reports that Napoli are willing to take Tomiyasu or Smith Rowe in a swap deal plus money, and it still would be about 100 million. It would be near 100 million to pay straight up. And according to Napoli fans that got very angry in my comments on yesterday's or the day before that stream or video, said that there's no chance of that happening. And to be honest, if you look at Serie A and how they deal, there's definitely no chance in happening that, because they need the money to get the job done, to sign and sell. So how is this gonna work? I have no idea. And to be honest, I don't want Osimhen at Arsenal. And this is all according to Di Marzio, by the way, not the most reliable one. But if you ask me, I don't want Osimhen at the club. Genuinely, I want Isak. It goes like this: Isak is number 1, 2 is Sesko, 3 is skipping my mind, the third player, Dovbyk, Dovbyk, and third one, and the fourth one is Osimhen or the Tony. I don't want Osimhen by any means being the number 1 option, so it remains to be seen what's gonna happen. Let me know down in comments what you think, how you feel, because yeah, these transfer rumors all over the place. The window opens in 10 days, and it feels like with every article we get closer potentially to signing someone. It feels we take 2 steps back with the next one. And this is all rumors, obviously. It's all to get hype, to get traction, so it will be very interesting to see what will happen once there are proper bids start going in. That will be the big one. But yeah, for today, that will be it for me. Let me know down in comments below after this stream goes live as a video, or now, right now in the chat. How do you feel? Would you take Sesko or rather Osimhen or Isak? Or, more importantly, we talked about Frankie de Jong. Hansi Flick said if they bring in a proper big midfielder, they're open to selling Frankie de Jong. Would you sign Frankie de Jong? Would you sign Frankie de Jong if he became available for Arsenal? Let me know that down below. Take care, stay safe, have a nice evening, and see you all